My daddy does not play. He'll beat you up, and he'll lock you up. Let me out, let me go. I want to go home, I want to go. Without word or warning, Jesus, who was Beelzebub, made a motion backward, which caused both of the boys to start. At his quick snake suddenness, he slammed shut the door, clicking the 3 additional deadbolts, deafening the boys' tirade to a mouse-like muffle. They had lined the room with sheets of cork. "He'll get tired and shut up," said Fatima, who was going by the name Rufus. She sat at the table playing solitaire. In the flickering candlelight, it seemed she wore a halo. Her afro was of profound proportions, meticulously cared for, and rivaling the cornucopic splendor of her heroine, Angela Davis. Her tie-dyed dashiki was radioactive with psychedelic color, a circular multiplicity of blues, purples, and reds, though it was dark from perspiration. The house was hot that night, hot like a furnace, hot like a combustion engine, hot like hell. They had sealed up all but 2 entrances, nailed shut and painted black the windows. When they found the house, the wallpaper was peeling and the dust was close to 6 years thick. The smell of decades of life entombed still lingered in the eaves and corners and the mangy rugs. A leaking roof had almost stripped one living room wall of its essence and warped it like a funhouse mirror. Candles ringed the rooms on ledges on the floor, on tables and shelves and windowsills, giving the steamy atmosphere an ethereal glow and a living light. There were no fans, no breeze from an open door, no new air. During the day, they opened the doors, but at night they closed everything tight for fear of a stray beam of light attracting notice to their clandestine keep. They found an old ice box, which they weekly replenished with a fat block of ice bought down in Wilmington. Calmly, with surprisingly little sweat upon his face and brow, Elihu stood in the kitchen doorway, tending this cauldron of human anxiety, with his white shirt wide open, revealing his ebon torso, his posture at once lax and strong. In the trembling shadows, he might have been mistaken for some type of were creature. His eyes striking, stalking, serene, a Coca-Cola bottle dripping moisture in his hand with the thin magician fingers. But Nathan's great protuberance of black hair was deflated with dampness, and his large and pale frame seemed to wilt in the heat. He was, in fact, larger than Jesus, yet his manner distracted from the heart, for his innocence was a tangible thing. He could have been 21 or 31 or 11, for no one really knew his age, and his general affect was that of a child. Somehow he maintained this uncanny charm. Perhaps it was all due to his mind. He owned a gigantic mind. His mind contained constellations, galaxies that spoke one to the other, each to each at the speed of light. Yet even now, wiping sweat from his face in worried botheration, he seemed increasingly perplexed and vexed. His great form hunched over itself as he sat on a stool, folding into itself as if the very heat were causing him to melt and shrink at once. His clothes were wet through and through with sweat. But what if he doesn't? Asked Nathan, whom they were calling Schmedley. Why, no one exactly knew. Well, what if he won't eat? What if... Nathan, who was going by the name Gerard, put his hand on Nathan's damp shoulder. Nathan, who was becoming visibly agitated, Nathan rocking back and forth, biting at the nail of his middle finger. Oh, there, buddy. Elihu said, he's just a boy. He'll cool off in no time. You'll see. He's just scared is all. Scared? And Jesus was chuckling. as he reclined in his tattered easy chair. Scared? Yeah. Well, little boys are scared. They tend to throw plates of food at 6'5" Mandan Indians and cuss them out. Yeah, I'd say he's really scared out of his wits. That little boy's got heart, Fatima said, with a bit of rue in her voice, in something like admiration tinged with a mild hint of regret. "Yeah, you're real funny there, Beelzebub," Elihu said, "really putting some confidence in our boy Smedley here." He patted Nathan Smedley on the shoulder, looking dead at Jesus. "Give it a rest, okay?" The okay came out not as a request, but as an order. Jesus gave a tisk, rolled his eyes, put his feet up, and reached for the newspaper, holding it perilously close to a candle by which to see. "Why don't you go fix yourself a sandwich, Smedley?" Elihu said. "It's been a long day, huh?" Nathan giggled. "I like it when you call me that." Elihu's tone was like that used when speaking to a child. "Remember, it's like a game. You're Smedley till we're done here, okay?" "Okay." Nathan pulled a face and hit himself on the head. I'm sorry, Gerard. That's all right. Now go on." Nathan lumbered into the kitchen, his walk at once like that of a toddler and a hulk, his flip-flops making a nursery rhyme rhythm against the rough hardwood floors. Fatima eyed Elihu with a mama cat's eyes. "I got a bad feeling about this one. I don't think Nathan can go through with this. Smedley," he stressed his name, "will be fine. He's smarter than all three of us combined." "Yeah, but this ain't about figuring out the square root of 999. 31 6/10, Jesus said. Fatima raised her middle finger and gave him a disgusted look. "Smart ass. So you about to go work in my glass good nerve." "Oh, come on, that was easy." Dabbing at the water on her forehead, flinging it to the floor, she turned back to Elihu, who was Gerard. "What I'm saying is this is a little too complicated for him to—" "Sounds like somebody's getting cold feet," Elihu said. "Oh, man, fuck you." Now, Jesus said. "Looks like the heat is getting to somebody." "Fuck you too, faggot." "Lesbo bitch." "Pole polisher." Hey, what is this, high school? Will you two act your IQs and not your age? Don't go putting a jinx on my plans." He hitched up his pants. "I got my mojo working. The moon is right. The stars are bright. And ain't none of us getting laid tonight. Now stop your fretting and bitching and moaning. This is under control. Trust the wizard, baby. Trust him." He gave them both a smile. Fatima and Jesus smirked at each other in unison. She went back to her card game. He went back to his newspaper. At that moment, there came another thud from the boys' room, and a pounding commenced like the tattoo of horses' hooves in the distance. Jesus piped up, "It's your turn, Gerard, and be sure you put the fear of God into him. You hear?" Elihu paused for a moment. His countenance slackened as he peered toward the thrice-locked door, and he said, "Fear of the devil works much better." "Who hurt that boy?" Fatima said. "And I ain't kidding either. That's not our plan." "I ain't gonna hurt him. I'm just gonna break his will." July 4th, 1874. "Mr. Ross, be not uneasy. You son Charlie Brewster be all right. We is got him and no powers on earth can deliver out of our hand. You will have to pay us a big cent too. If you put the cops hunting for him, you is only defeating you own will. We is got him put so no living power can gets him from us alive. If any approach is made to his hiding place, that is the signal for his instant annihilation. If you regard his life puts no one to search for him, you money can fetch him out alive, and no other existing powers. Don't deceive yourself and think the detectives can get him from us, for that is one impossible. You hear from us in a few days." Remember and weep for poor little Charlie Ross. He should not be forgotten. His was the first known kidnapping of a child for ransom in the history of the United States of America. Truth be told, kidnapping for profit has been going on for millennia. Empires have been built upon it. Wars have been cured by it. Economies like America's have been created by it. Yet, this newfound night-lurking modern terror we now attend to child kidnapping, we're bound up with our vision of childhood as a special, inviolate, enchanted place when children are the most precious, the most vulnerable, the most innocent thing in God's holy creation. This worship, not of children, but of childhood,